Good morning, good morning. Today is August 10th. It's probably almost 1:30. The temperature is 84 degrees. The humidity level is 45%. I wasn't planning on beekeeping today, but one of our local master beekeepers here, one of my friends, is coming to check on Renee because she's had a pattern of being fine during the daytime. No signs of sickness during the daytime, but when the evening hits, there's a bunch of sick bees on the ground. I don't know what's going on, so David's gonna come and kind of check them out with me and make sure I'm not crazy. And the other thing is, Dad, I'm sorry to say, I think our swarm, I think they left. I do. I was looking down there this morning and I hardly saw any activity at the door, so I'm thinking that they decide to skedaddle. So this is just my quick intro. When he gets here in about 10 minutes, we'll be going in there and checking things out. All right, bye. Yeah, but you can look at the ground, you see all the poop everywhere, the feces all over the slate. But come evening, it'll be just filled with sick bees all over the ground.
It's only at the end of the day. And then
at the end of the day.
In the morning?
No, well, you know what? I've never come out super early, so I really don't know.
Eating them, or they're recovering somehow, which is even the bigger mystery.
Well, we see like the poop on this leg. In the evening, a lot of them, like late in the evening, I've come out here and I'll see them starting to try and crawl back up. So either some of them are making it back up.
Well, I talked to Sybil about it, and she kind of said all the same stuff that I said.
Yeah.
The only other thing she added, she was talking a little bit about small hive beetle, and it doesn't really have anything to do with them getting sick per se, but it has to do with
the stress.
Yeah, on weaker colonies, the small hive beetle, the adult ones will actually chew holes in the cappings and lay their eggs on top of the pupa.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then it messes with it. Like most of the time the pupa don't make it, but I guess sometimes they do, but then they're not very healthy.
Right.
So I guess.
Well, last time I was in here, I only saw 2 small hive beetles, so they seem to be managing the small hive beetles pretty well. Yeah. Do you think it could be heat stress? Because this thing gets really hot.
It is in all the sun.
Yeah, this is the only hive that one and this one get all the sun, but that one has a silver top, and if you touch this, it's really hot.
Yeah.
I put insulation inside to help.
Well, grab your smoker.
Okay.
And let's just see if we see anything. I mean, the air coming out of your vent hole here doesn't feel super hot.
Yeah.
And you can open a second one? No,
that's the plug that kept falling out of the other one where the swarm moved in.
Just a little bit, don't need much. I'm not really seeing pollen come in at all, but I'm not seeing shaking bees out here in the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there should be some pollen. There's plenty of pollen out there.
Yeah. I saw some.
Yellow and orange is what I was seeing on
Yeah. But you're right, I'm not seeing any right now. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot, but
a little bit. And some of them made it up here, and like I think they're coming through like a little crack over here.
Oh yeah.
And you'll see a little bit of droppings up here.
Warm, but it's not hot.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's probably. I mean, this side's a little hotter than this side.
Yeah.
Like I probably can't hold my hand here for a long time, so it's got to be. Well, I guess that's all right. Yeah, it's pretty hot.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty warm. Where do you want to start? They're not that big.
Yeah, let's go down there.
So you'll get some bees hanging out on this side because when they're too hot, sometimes they'll come over here and hang out.
I see some beetles down there.
Yeah, the oil trays are doing great. Yeah, feel free to take over if you want.
Hi, girls. doing.
You can use my my tool if you want. In case you want to, in case you find something. You probably clean between inspections anyways, but just in case.
Generally, but it's not a bad idea to use your stuff.
Oh, I should have put my sweatband on, man.
Yeah,
and the
it's
sun.
warmer today than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, what kind of mite count did you get on this hive the last
I don't
time?
have my notes with me, but it was less than 1%. Or if it, this might have been the one that actually reached the 1% threshold. So they've got the Varaxan strips down there next to their brood area.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep following that down.
Let's see what kind of...
Sure, we can move this if you need more. Do you want the J hook?
They are building some comb.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that may be some of the spotted lanternfly.
Nectar, spotted lanternfly nectar.
Yeah, the honeydew. It's definitely coming in.
Okay.
There's so many adults now. It's just crazy.
True. Very true. You can do that, or I can put a frame holder. Yep. Let me go get it. Or we can move that whole follower board if you want. You just pull that follower board out. Up to you.
Right, so it looks like you checked the stuff on here.
Yeah, a while ago. So, yeah, I gave them a feed frame from spring. Mm-hmm. A frame like that just had mostly probably 1-to-1 in it. And I took a lot of the feed frames out in spring, so I knew what I was getting was from nectar. And I didn't pull any honey from them, but I gave them back some of those feed frames from spring. And they all got some of those back.
So are all the hives getting Varaxan right now?
Yeah.
And you said it had a couple weeks left on it?
Yeah, they come out September 1st. That's 56 days.
So there does seem to be some... I don't think that there's been scientific proof yet. The last time I talked to anybody was in February, I think.
About the Varaxan?
About the OA.
Okay.
And the possibility that could have something to do with the tracheomite infestations that they're finding.
Like I said, I did find one bee on a frame that had K-wing. And if you've got one, you probably have another. And you said that's usually indicative of possible tracheomites?
Well, or the paralysis viruses. So there's a good bit of arcwing walking around. You know, there's girls like this that are just kind of...
Not folding in their wings?
Yeah, they're just walking around with their wings out.
Oh, there's a new one.
There's lots of pollen here, so
that's good.
I'm not really worried about the...
Yeah, it's been interesting to see what they do with the frames while the strips are in there. I have one colony that just made one side all pollen and the other side brood, because they don't want to put... And there's nectar underneath of where the strips are. It's just funny how they've organized it now that there's strips in there.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a good brood pattern?
Yeah, it's a good brood pattern. There's definitely some ball brood here.
Right.
So we see one lone one over...
Right there.
Yeah, there's kind of a bunch there. There's one here. And then there's kind of a grouping here.
Okay.
And they do seem to be putting collars on, so you see that's raised up around the... And that typically, the research seems to indicate that those are ones... So the strategy here is just to uncap, but not necessarily pull out.
The larva.
The pupa.
Pupae. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, they're pre-pupa when they get capped, and then when you can see their eyeballs, which I can on pretty much all of these, then they're duplicates. Larvae don't have that much.
Gotcha.
So they may very well be letting them go completely to term. They're being awfully quiet,
Yeah, all the ladies are really, all my colonies are actually really good. I don't have any super defensive bees, it seems like.
So quiet is usually considered a good trait, but you can also have bees that are lethargic.
Okay.
And typically what you'll see, some of those signs are...
Do you need some smoke?
Kind of a weaker brood pattern, and it's not always necessarily...
My smoke kind of went out a little bit.
Spotty. It can just be smaller brood patterns, because what's happening in those cases is the nurse bees are not preparing space for the queen in the pace that she needs them to.
Okay.
And so sometimes other resources are getting socked in there. So there's two reasons that can happen. One is you have a reduced number of bees that are doing that job, so they're not enough, the workforce is too small. The other is that they're being lethargic. They're just kind of hanging about and not really doing work.
Okay.
And they look very quiet on the comb, but they might actually not be very busy. Now she's got eggs in these open cells, and this is definitely an emerging frame. You can see a bee working her way out right here.
Yeah, and then there's a new bee right there.
Yeah, so their bees are just popping out, and she's coming along behind and
filling it back in.
Filling them back in. There's a lot of nice pollen here.
So that's good, right?
That is good.
Okay. They have such cool genetics. Like this one right here looks really cool. It's like almost like the blonde is gray, and the coloring is like different colors. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, there's not a lot of grays in here. There's some, but most of them have some yellows.
Right. Trying to keep my smoker going. Do you want to
Can you push in on that strip for me?
Yes, absolutely.
See if we can drop it in there.
There
I'm
we
not
go.
sure the other one's going to cooperate.
Yeah. Anything that seems obvious at this point?
Well, like I said, it's possible that I'm seeing lethargy, but it takes a little while to kind of figure that part out.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to kind of compare it to previous inspections.
Okay.
Lethargy can be caused by viruses. The paralysis virus, while it doesn't directly cause lethargy, the result of them having the paralysis virus.
Would it show though still? Like, because don't the paralysis virus usually have like the black, they're very like losing their hairs and they do a lot of shaking.
There's three main ones that we know about.
Okay.
And they don't all present the same.
Oh, there's my queen.
I'm getting stung on my arm.
Oh no. Yes. Sorry.
So here's some grays.
Let me get it off.
Yeah, she looks really good.
I can't get. She got you good in there.
I have to go the other way.
I can't get it out, David. I want to though, because I don't want them to sting you anymore.
If you smoke it, then they probably won't sting. Yeah, so like you see here, again, a lot of pollen, and that is the thing that happens this time of the year. There's pollen on this side too.
Okay.
But you can see how they're kind of in the beginning, I think, of kind of becoming pollen bound in the sense that they're starting to plug up enough of her space with pollen that they won't need. A size colony like this probably only needs like a frame and a half, and we've probably already seen close to 2 frames worth.
Okay.
There's nothing, you can't tell them to stop bringing in pollen. You could put a pollen trap up, but that would be tricky with this particular setup, because they may have ones for longlings. I've never seen one, but somebody probably has figured that out. But that is one of the defenses this time of the year, to kind of reduce potential of them becoming bound.
Okay.
We're getting a little bit more active here.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah, I mean, that queen is laying in every open space she can.
Good.
I like that the nectar doesn't seem like it's encroaching into her brood space, so that's a good sign. Because I've seen a lot of that lately, just where, like, just shining everywhere, you know, there's just half as much brood as there should
lady.
be.
No, lady.
Just checking me.
Yeah, well, it was right next to that stinger area. I didn't want to get any ideas. Got it? Okay. But you can see they're managing the small hive beetles pretty well.
I've seen problem there. So I think keep an eye on it, and if it stays down to like a couple dozen or so, and I would try to check early in the morning a couple times.
Okay, and see if there's any left over.
There's always a chance that there's predators that are coming along at night.
I do have lots of ants.
Yeah, and saying, oh great, like here's some food. And they're just absconding with them, but you know, most of the time you don't really see when you have dead bees like that, you don't really see.
And that's the thing, I don't see too many of them dying. They're just getting
writhing
sick. Yeah.
So if they had trachea mites, the recovery, I have not ever heard of that.
Oops, sorry, lady.
So, you know, once they get them, unless you do some sort of treatment, and the only commercially approved treatment is a chemical called checkmate.
Okay.
As far as I know, you can't buy anymore.
Okay.
It's one of the synthetic chemicals that came out earlier, but the mites got resistant to it really quickly, and so they stopped manufacturing it a few years ago because people just went buying it, I think, because, you know, it wasn't being effective.
You said formic, though, helps with it too, right?
Well, so the fumigants, I think, are reported to have they do cause some problems for the trachea mites. I don't know that they kill them outright.
Right.
Formic is the best. Apigard is rated as causing them trouble, but I think not as much as formic. But of course, formic is the trickiest one to put on this time of the year, and so I think it's you know, that would be a tough one to just say, oh well, I'm just gonna put formic on, especially here because of the
sun.
Full sun. Yeah,
right.
It's gonna be really tricky to do.
Right.
You also don't really have a setup to do it. You'd have to figure out a way to make gaps in your top bars here.
For like ventilation?
It has to go down and get spread around. I don't think there's room between your bars and the tops of the frames because you probably made that less than bee space, so they wouldn't.
No, it's bee space. It should be exactly 3/8. I think, as far as like the dosage, I think you said put a single on for 10 days, didn't you? Wasn't it?
That I think because you had the rock.
And we're gonna take off the strips.
Looks like we still have some kind of. Oh yeah, we still have
some embers.
Oh yeah, flying around. So just some combustible stuff.
You may throw some burlap on top. I
feel like it's safer for your queen. A lot safer.
Here, let me put this on top. It just keeps the embers or anything from coming.
Because remember, the treatment is technically for 20 deeps. Now, the assumption is not that you have 20 deeps of brood, but you know, and then they have a caveat where they say, don't put it on unless you have at least 6 frames of bees. Like,
okay.
You know, frames would cover.
Yeah, I was looking for the instructions on the thing, and I actually didn't see it.
That's part of it's on the website.
Oh, okay.
But I think, and from talking to the NOD people, I think I remember they confirmed this. I think that's mainly to keep people from putting it on the news.
Okay.
Because they have a lot of good data that shows that if you put one strip, even on a 5-frame deep,
it's too much. Okay.
They're gonna.
I'm nervous about this, but honestly, because like you said, you know, you're telling me formic is, and from what I've heard is strong. It sounds like she needs it though, and if we don't do something, I don't think she's gonna make it through winter.
Yeah, and I will have queens. You know, if something happens with your queen.
We've already got a couple of ladies who are, you see them, they try and fly. They're doing this little hoppy thing. Little hop, hop, as she's trying to fly, but she can't. And you see all the feces is just everywhere. It'll be everywhere. And they'll be all in the grass.
Yeah, so something is giving them...
And there's just feces, like, all over the place.
I mean, I suppose it's entirely possible. I think I mentioned this in class, but, you know, the ash content, apparently, they've done testing. The ash content,
do we even have a lot of ash? There's a boar that, like, killed a lot of the ash in this area.
It's not ashes in the ash tree.
Oh, okay.
It's, kind of it's part of a component. It can be a component in honey. Like, it's the reason we don't use brown sugar to make syrup, because it has ash, high ash content.
Okay.
It just has to do with the processing. But apparently they've done some
Where do they get that from?
The honeydew, the spotted lantern honeydew, and it has a higher ash content than regular honey.
Okay.
So there has been some speculation that it will lead to dysentery. And it's possible that this hive, remember we talked about how they might be doing selective foraging and when we were talking about pesticides. Well, it's possible that these girls are actually doing more of the honeydew. Just, you know, they found it early and then that's what they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, the girls that are consuming it are getting sick. They're getting dysentery. So
from the
honeydew.
From the honeydew,
from the
that's
ash that's in the honeydew. The high ash content. So
that could also be infected by pesticides.
It could or may not.
Okay.
So that's
we're unsure.
Again, this is new information about the ash. I just heard it recently.
Okay.
So I don't know that we have enough inspection hours looking at it. I mean, it's something I'm going to talk to Sybil about when we have our meetings in the winter.
Okay.
Because it was the same thing with the trachea mite. And Sybil was pretty straight that, I bet some of that BPMS, stuff we classify as BPMS was trachea mite. The symptoms are so similar. And she's like, I bet that's what it was. Because she was running into these cases where she was pretty confident, because these were beekeepers she knew, that they had done good treatments. Like their treatment schedule was good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so why did I have BPMS? And then she was thinking back and she's like, like I bet some of that was trachea mite. And so it's going to probably be something like that with this ash content. Because I know this spring, even in my colonies, but I saw it a lot with my mentees, there was a lot of dysentery this spring.
Okay.
More than I've seen. Now, it could have been the weather. We had that wacky, crazy, weird weather. It could have been a number of things, that could have created the dysentery problem. But, that's one of the issues with the ash. It just doesn't, their system doesn't digest it, so it ends up, It's not super heavy.
We can move the follower board if you'd like.
Well, I moved it down.
Okay. If you want more room. That one doesn't look like they built on that one at all.
I think there's maybe, it's hard to tell. It's that way.
Yeah.
So we're kind of doing this, let's treat for everything, and then, we may do this treatment and we may not see a change, and that to me is going to be...
Watch your finger if you put your finger down.
Feel her.
Yeah.
That to me is probably going to tell me that maybe it wasn't mite related, but remember that the viruses hang around.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say, well, why are we going to treat this now if the viruses might still be there? Well, but there's going to be brand new bees that don't get fed on by mites because you're going to kill them.
Right.
And they won't have the viruses. So what we're doing is creating generations of healthy bees. And that's going to bump that percentage back up, right?
Right.
If we're close to the 70-30 thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's good reason to do this, but
I'm hoping that
now, if we don't see, if we're still seeing this, then I might be like, maybe it's the honeydew. Like maybe they're bringing a lot of that in.
So a process of elimination a little bit. Okay.
And it's very conceivable, because it's almost this way with everything with bees, is that these girls aren't bringing in any more of the honeydew, but genetically, they're having more problems with it, right? We know, there are certain bees that have more trouble with certain things than others.
It's just so strange because they're all kind of, in my apiary, they're all kind of related.
Yeah, but remember that there's different fathers.
That's true.
And so, that's one of the beauties of polyandry, but it also beauty in the sense that it makes things difficult sometimes. It's not always the best deal, but it's...
At least they're still building a little bit. There's a little bit of building. Yeah.
They are building.
A little bit. Small amount. No, and that looks older.
But I can see a reddish tint in the...
in the nectar.
Nectar, so... And I mean, I've been seeing a lot of this. Alright, so this is the first frame that we've had some brood
on it. Yep.
So it's maybe half a frame.
Here, I can take
maybe
this.
A little bit more. Watch her queen. She could be underneath.
I know. There was one queen.
Yeah,
I was
to hide,
inspecting, and she was underneath of it, and trying to hide underneath of it like a lot.
So this side, you can see there's maybe 25% brood. See all the pollen and the nectar. Look at all the pollen. It's beautiful. You can see some chew down. Probably looked at this before. It's a little harder for light now. But these two cells are chew down, and then there's one over here. So they've removed the heads off.
Oh no!
So they're pulling those, but
that's
again,
genetic or
it's just
hygienic.
As likely that's good news. Yeah, that it's hygienic behavior, which I'll take out all day long. Here, she's got some open cells, but I don't see that she's laid in here. Yeah, I don't see anything in here. So we're not really going to count this much as a brood frame.
Okay.
Because it's not even maybe 10%.
Gotcha.
But what we want to do is try to figure out how many frames of brood that we have. And bees. I mean, I would say this is probably about 4 or 3. These two aren't very much.
Right, because they're
so
not really built.
You got maybe 2.5 frames of bees here.
Gotcha.
We're on the flank, and they're not going to be as crowded here, especially without brood. There's not ever going to be the coverage on frame that doesn't have brood on it. Because they have less to do there. Alright, this looks a little bit more populated.
But not as much brood unless it's eggs.
There's a bunch of pollen on the left. Alright, now I have milk brood.
Okay.
Good. It's on. Got eggs. I see a bunch of eggs. So we do have a queen in here.
That's good.
Good news. It's good to know that before you put your formic on so you don't...
So you have something to compare it to when you don't.
How many people I talk to, and I'll say, do you mark your queens? They're like, I've never seen my queen.
Yeah.
And then you're like, formic killed my queen. And you're like, really?
How do you know?
You've never seen your queen.
Yeah.
How the hell do you know if you even had a queen when you put formic in? She might have swarmed out. Yeah, there's stuff on this other side too, a bunch of eggs. So she's been here recently.
Okay.
So I'm going to say this is maybe 40%. So you're going to keep track of all these names.
Okay, 40%.
Well, we'll say 50% because I'll go ahead and give you that 10%.
Okay.
We'll say 50%.
We're at 50%. Come here, lady. There you go.
All right, you have that cover?
Oh, yes.
No sense in getting these girls artificially riled up. I don't see as many beetles.
No, they don't have beetles. Yeah. It's the sun and...
Oh yeah, they do get better.
They get a ton of sun. They get too much sun.
Well,
that was one of the things I thought might have been the stressors of this hive if they get a lot of sun, but that's why I put the insulation kind of on the top to help.
Watch them girls. They like to dance around where the hive pool is. Like, you are just like an evil Knievel bee or something. Trying to show off. Alright, this may be the first really full brood frame. I don't see too much in these open cells. backfilling with pollen.
She skip a frame?
Well, so they're putting the pollen in the front, which is typical because the entrance is there, so there's always pollen on this left side, and then she's got some open cells here that look polished, but I don't see eggs on them or anything else. So she seems to be... Oh, here we go. Here's some... That's nice in here. And there's some larvae and some milkweed. Alright, so she did this side. For some reason it doesn't look like she did the other side. Skipping around.
She skipped.
I mean, this may be emerging right now.
I did see a new bee on there eating.
So she may just not have been back to this one yet. Okay, so now we're up to 1 frame of brood.
So,
1 frame of brood and 4.5 frames of bees.
So we're still at 50%? One frame of brood.
Total. Not adding. I'm giving you total.
Oh gosh.
So you don't have to add.
Okay, wait.
So we're up to
what am I keeping track of? The
50%?
Okay, 1 frame of brood.
4.5 frames of bees.
4.5 frames of bees. Hello, ma'am. I know. You're not happy. I get you. 4.5.
There's your queen. So we know we got our queen. She's on this side.
Okay.
We don't have a strip to remove.
Yeah. There's some new ladies on this side.
She's a pretty girl.
Oh, yeah.
Very pretty. Look how long her
She's long. You know, this hive right here has a huge queen.
Yeah.
That one is the biggest queen I've ever seen.
And she's definitely moving around on the comb.
Yeah.
I can see some brood on this, so she's been doing some work. What are you doing over there on the bottom? That's not good.
Yeah, don't do that.
You keep your eye on the bottom. She's got stuff on here too. Okay, so we're gonna go with 1.4 frames of brood.
Okay.
Where did she go?
She's down there at the bottom still.
Let me see. Good spot for her queen. She's probably gonna try to squeeze through that gap.
She is very long.
Now she's gonna walk in the embryo, which is the most dangerous place for a queen. Just because she can.
Go back towards the middle of the frame, little lady. What are you doing?
If I do this,
So we're still at 4.1.
1.4.
1.4? 4? Oh.
1.4.
Okay.
And
I went opposite.
5.5 frames of bees.
I'm glad you're repeating it, because I don't know if I'll remember it. This is why I record everything.
It changes everything. We used to do all this hive mapping back in the day. That was a really good exercise, but people got tired of it, so we stopped doing it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I would always keep all that stuff in my head, and people would be looking at me like, I don't do math. I'm not doing math. Not really math, it's just adding.
It's the keeping track as you keep going and you introduce new
so here we got something different.
Stuff.
Yeah, she's got brood all across this side. I suspect about the same here. Yeah, a little bit of pollen. So we're going to go 2.2 frames of brood.
2.2.
And 6.5 frames of bees.
Okay, 2.2, 6.5. Interested to see what they'll do once the strips are gone.
Yeah, will they re-wax that?
Yeah, fill it back out.
Alright, so we're going to give this one, what are we up to? 2.2. So we're going to go to
2.2 and
3 frames of brood.
5.4.
6.5. So we're going to do 7.5 frames of... So 3 brood, 7.5 on the bees.
7.5, okay. Honestly, this one doesn't look like they're doing much, at least from this side.
On it, so I'm going to assume that there's... I mean, obviously it's going to be thinner because they made that big elephant size.
I think when I did it, I was just trying to get it next to the other brood and do this, the space.
Well, it works that way too. Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah, they put a queen cup on it. Thanks, ladies.
This must mean we need to make a queen. Okay, so we're not going to add anything here. We're just going to leave that So 7.5 and 3.
7.5 and 3. And that's not likely to be any brood.
Probably not.
No ladies. No ladies.
Yeah, they get interested in my watch.
Why is it's always the watch? Do you think it has something to do with the electromagnetic?
It could. It's solar, but it's got a battery in it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that it gives off some kind of frequency. Right, yeah, nothing here, but maybe a half a frame of bees. So we'll go to 8 frames of bees.
8 frames of bees.
3 frames of brood. We want to write that down because after we do the treatment, a few weeks later, we should probably check it out again. And the hope would be that you could see those numbers go up, at least with the frames of brood.
Okay. 8 frames of brood. No. 3 frames of brood. 8 frames of bees.
8 frames of brood. 8.
Ooh, they're starting to get sassy.
And those are included together. So this would be like an 8 frame deep.
Do you want me to smoke them again?
Just trying not to smush anybody. So yeah, one strip is going to be the treatment.
So don't hate me, but I gotta put a little bit of space right there. Otherwise, if I just want to go into the brood area, I need some space here. I'm gonna do a little bit more.
I'm surprised they don't build you a lot of extra.
It's only ever happened in the spring. But for the most part, no, they're pretty good. I've only had it once happen, and I think it was that big colony that I have, and it was in like the springtime, and I had to scrape it off. And my queen was on the wall when they were doing that.
The volume has gone up some.
I'm gonna put. Oh yeah, we can't put the cover on.
Oops. I missed it. The beetle got down on the crack.
So 2 beetles. Not even in the oil trays do they have.
3 frames of brood and 2 beetles.
Yes. Sounds like we're taking accountability like Noah's Ark.
Well, that's when we mapped them, that's what we did. But we didn't only do brood, we did honey and pollen. And so that way we would do it in the late summer, early fall, and the whole idea was, how much food do I need to put on? Are they honey bound? Like, do I need to pull some frames of honey and then put in some comb? So, because they only have like 1.5 frames of brood, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, that's a winter brood. Like, you better get like 3 or 4 frames at least.
Right.
And so 3 in here is pretty lean, although these are deeps. So how much brood do you think that is?
So if we have 3 frames of brood and it's 7,000 frames or cells, 7,500. So, ooh, she gotcha. So that's 15,000 plus 75.
So 3 times 7 is 21.
Yeah, so like what, 22?
1,500, so about 2250.
Yeah, 22.
20,000 is probably a good number,
Yeah, because they don't fill out everyone.
Exactly right. So, not bad, but I'd feel better if it was closer to 30,000, which would be like another frame, or at least somewhere in that ballpark, right? So that's kind of where I think that should be our target, is that we want to be, in that zone.
Okay.
So, that has a zipper on it.
I've never used this before, so I'm very interested.
Zip closure here.
And
Did you bring any Ziplocs? Any extra?
No, I can go get Ziplocs. Okay.
Good idea. So what we're going to do, we did single strip, 2 20-day treatments. So you do one for 10 days, and then you do the second one for 10 days.
Okay.
So.
And is that what we're going to do on this one?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, 10 can be 9, can be 11. You're going to look at the temperatures. But the total treatment is going to be 20. If you did the 2 strips, you would do 14 days for 2. And just do that one thing. So we're going to do 1, and then you're going to come in, you're going to go on your calendar. And what you want to do is look at the 10-day, because what you really want to be interested in is 10 days from today, what's the first 3 days of weather look like?
Right.
if it looks like, oh my God, it's going to be back up in the mid 80s, you know, on day 11 and 12, but then it gets cooler again. Well, then you're going to probably leave this on until day 12, and then you're going to go in when it's only going to be 80 degrees for the next 3 days and put the second strip in. Because remember, 86 is the high temperature when you place it in, and then I think they max at like 92 or something.
So if you said if it's too hot, then wait until the temperature is okay, and then do the next strip.
Or if you see that on day 10 is here, so today's the 22nd, right? Yeah. So the 1st is going to be 10 days, is that right? Should be September 1st.
So it's going to be maybe in the 70s.
You see, that should be good. But let's say on day 9 it was going to be 80, and then day 10 was going to be 80, and day 11 was going to be 85. You might go switch them out on day 9. Because you'd be like, okay, well, at least I get those 2 80-degree days, and then it starts to warm up, but I should have, I'm going to put on
the most important part is when you put the strip on first, okay, that the fumigant isn't too hot.
Somewhere in their stuff they say 86, but I did a whole thing on this once where I showed all the different temperatures. It's like, is it 85? Is it 86? Is it 92? It's like, all these different things. But here they just say 85, so they probably try to keep it simple. But, okay. So, we got our instructions. We'll put those back inside. Here's our 2 pouches. So there's 2 sachets or strips in here.
And we're going to put one of them in one. Do you want nitrate gloves? Is it really, I don't know, I've never done format. Is it really, it's sticky or stinks?
So what I usually do, it doesn't really show cutting it this way, but if you do this, you have to be careful about cutting the paper. So what I do is I cut the end off first.
Okay.
Peel. And then that way I can lift up, because you don't want to cut this paper.
Okay.
And then I can cut down this way enough to release the strip that I want.
Right.
This paper
looks like a pollen patty.
Yeah, this paper is designed to emit the fumigant at an even pace that's safe for the bees.
Right, okay.
And some people cut these strips in half, and so of course
you've messed up okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this back. We're going to place this over top of where the brood was, which we know is pretty much. And there's 2 in here, so you got to be careful. And this paper is kind of soft, so you got to be careful with that too. I know you girls are going to be mad at us. So in this case, because we're doing 1 strip, we're going to go in the middle.
Okay.
See, I just tore the paper.
That's okay. It was the very bottom. Little baby corner.
Yeah, we're going to just leave that up. Yeah, see how they hate it?
Yeah.
So we didn't have any brood here. We pretty much cover the frames of brood that we had.
Okay. If it was 2, you'd do 1, you'd cat a corner.
You'd do like this and then this.
Okay.
Yeah. But on the same box. Yeah, here. Okay. Yeah, you girls are mad.
Ah!
Why did you do that? We were perfectly happy with
no, you weren't.
Stuff. Right, and then this one we're going to try to zip, and then we're going to try to squeeze it into another gallon. Just, I put the instructions back inside, so that's all back together.
Okay.
And if we can squeeze this in, I think we can.
You might have more dexterity with your hands than I do.
Yeah,
there we go.
At least I can usually get them in a gallon Ziploc, so
yeah.
Looks like you want me to zip or you okay?
I got it.
Okay, so now we can put our boots back on and close all these gloves up. I apologize for
Sorry.
thinking. Oh
it's for the betterment of you, I swear.
Technically, you're supposed to put in your IPM board. So, do you have a way to put in an IPM board?
I just have those oil trays.
Those are pretty sealed up though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, what they're trying to do is they don't want all the fumigant to just drop out the bottom because it is heavier than air.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they're trying to do is you're supposed to open your. Now, do you have entrance reducers? You don't use entrance reducers.
I can open it up higher if you're
Yeah, I think
more.
you're supposed to take them out.
Okay. I have it open to about 1.5 inches.
Yeah, if you can open it
all the way,
as much as you can.
Okay, all the way open it is.
And if you feel concerned about robbing or something, you can do you have robbing screens for these?
I do. I can use robbing screens. It's a little bit more difficult, and
I just made little ones. You know, they were.
It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, they're about this big.
Yeah.
That you could just screw over the entrance, because with my land size and stuff, I just have entrances I do that. And they work fine.
Yeah.
They were kind of custom made, but okay.
Is it good?
Good.
All right, let me put this on.
Yep. Very good. At least we did it late in the day. Cooling off, and it's not going to be hot the next few days.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be too awful. I hope it helps. I really do.
Well, as a minimum, we get to rule something out. And
Right.
I think this was a split from this year.
Yeah, this one was. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not comfortable with only 3 frames of brood in there. I feel like they're removing stuff. That's why we saw some gaps.
Right.
And so if we can remove the reason that they have to remove stuff,
then they can bump up.
Like, yeah,
the
she's not gonna lose
flourish
10% of her
afterwards.
brood, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you say, well, that's maybe a half a frame of brood, but still, it's maybe 4,000 bees or 3,000 bees. And winter bees, like, we want as many as we can. So, I think this time of the year, I feel really comfortable when I see a colony that has like 30,000 brood and they're just producing that week after week. And I feel like, okay,
that
this
one
is
was
good.
beautiful. Like, I went in there yesterday and I was just like, holy crap.
When we went into here, I think there was probably 4+ frames of brood in there.
Okay.
Maybe closer to 5. So they're ahead of these girls.
Yeah.
And so
you mean because I would assume because they're sick.
And
something's wrong with them.
I think there is something, whether it's their food that's messing them up or whether there's some viral load in there. There's probably viral. I mean, that's the thing. Like when we say, well, everybody has Roe, we do. And if everybody has Roe, everybody has viruses.
Right.
So like you can't just say, oh, I treated, so now they're okay. But
yeah,
the treatment doesn't do anything for viruses. So
yeah.
what you want to do, the beauty of formic is it kills under the cavities. So there's a point where, like right this minute, they just caps themselves.
Right.
And a mite went under, right? She's going to be dead.
Right.
So she might not even establish a feeding site, right?
Right.
So guess what? Perfectly healthy
bee
right?
coming in.
And there might be 1,000 of those,
yeah.
right? Because she laid 1,000 eggs that day, right? And so then you're like, oh my God, that's 1,000 bees that are healthy, right? And you say out of 20,000, but it's 5%, right? It's something.
Yeah.
And when we're talking 70-30, like we were talking about, well, if it goes up to 35, well, now it might go down to 25.
Right.
Because we just got 5% better, right?
Yeah.
So it really is a numbers game, and you have to just like give them every chance you can. And that's why,
I have a good feeling. I feel like I feel like after the treatment, I feel like I'm hoping at least that, like you said, after sometimes you do formic, you're giving them basically a clean slate and they just thrive. They just take off.
It's amazing sometimes. Like I'll go into these hives.
I'm feeling that.
The brood's spotty. The bees are grumpy.
See, they got some poop on the outside of the hive too.
Not a lot of bees, and then I'll put in the formic, and literally like 3 weeks later, it's on for a couple weeks, and then or whatever, and then you go in, and you're just like, wow, like it looks like springtime in here, 'cause, like there's all this new brood.
I'm hoping that
happens.
happens.
Like, really. So, and if it's a bigger problem that formic isn't going to do anything about, we're going to find that out.
Yeah.
And we're going to say, okay, we've narrowed it down. Like it's probably not mites and viruses. Or those odds go down. Maybe it is the food, and of course, unfortunately,
can't really control that.
Yeah, without like closing them in. Or spraying for spotted lanternflies, but I don't think you want to do that.
Nope.
So, it gets trickier from there, but you at least want to feel like I'm not just out in the desert, like.
Yeah. What's going on?
You want to feel like I'm helping, I'm targeting the problem. And,
exactly.
And you also want to use this. You always want to use these things as learning experiences.
That didn't seem as bad as I thought it was, and I expected like to put a strip on and they'd just be like running, like flowing out, but no, they're not really.
Yeah.
And that, you think that has something to do with the
fanning.
temperature a little bit?
I think so. I think
Because if it was
temperature.
hotter, they would probably be like.
They're fanning to distribute the chemical, which is fine. That's what they're supposed to do. It's designed to do that because that gets it in all the nooks and crannies and under the cappings and all that stuff. So that's what they're supposed to do. But they're doing that now.
I just expected it to be a lot more dramatic. They did run a little bit, but it wasn't that bad.
Like you saw them go down.
Yes,
like it was
yeah.
Like smoking out of
Yeah.
And you heard them, like they just go.
Yeah, right.
What? But it's. If
You know, sometimes you read these stories, they're just like, my bees are just like flowing out of the hive, and they're just like they're absconding, they're leaving.
They're most likely overdosed.
Okay.
And it's because people use so much medium equipment these days. And even if you say, well, it's 10-frame equipment, it's still it's 64% of a 10-frame deep.
Yeah.
10-frame medium. And you're going to put 2 strips on your 2 10-frame deep, 10-frame medium boxes. Guess what?
That's too much. Yeah.
So of course they're going to go out because it's way too much. There's not enough space. So and then when you go to 8 frames, it's like we've talked about, it's half. So unless you have 4 8-frame mediums, like with brood and bees, covered with bees and brood, like you could get in trouble by putting 2 on there. 1 is probably a full dose.
Yeah.
And then if you put 2, it's definitely a double dose. There's no question.